Hello everybody, welcome back to the Reaction Nexus. Today we have a new band on the channel, and feel free to mock as I butcher the name of this band. Atarashii Gakko. Definitely Japanese. The song Otonablue. Alright, so, that's the song we're reacting to. I don't know what to expect. Apparently, they supposedly have something in common with Baby Metal. I don't know really what, so we'll find out. Let's get to the reaction, shall we? At the end of the video, when I mean at the end of the video, I mean goodbye. After I say goodbye, there is going to be a timestamp in the description called system. The system is basically going to explain to you guys how this channel is going to work in the future. I've already experimented with this idea, and it's working. It's a very complex system, so if you're willing and you're wanting to actually be able to kind of like manipulate it a little bit, you can, and that it'll give you a clue of how to. But it's very complex, very hard to follow. But I want to put it there on every video that I upload this week, just so it's very clear of how it's going down. So, without further ado, let's get to the video, shall we? All right. Atarashii Gakko and Otonablue. I'm pretty sure I'm mispronouncing that name, but if I am. You can't fault me. I don't know how to say some of these words. And to be fair, there are some words in English that the Japanese struggle with. So, let's not waste any more time. I have a timer set for a minute. The reason why I set for a minute is after a minute, I press pause. Every band gets this treatment. No band gets a different treatment except for Baby Metal. Baby Metal gets less time because Baby Metal's record labels are assholes. But I pause it after a minute. I give some analysis of what I've seen, what I hear, and I press play. The reason I do it after a minute, it helps the video, helps you get a big chunk of the video yourself, and helps me get my review and my reaction, my reaction, and help keep the video from being blocked. There's a bunch of things, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. This is a very interesting song. Okay, I actually like it. It's not my go-to style, but I like it. I can see some of the Baby Metal comparisons, but very little. It's just I'm assuming this is like a comedy band. It looks like a joke, like a joke that's serious. What I mean by that is like you have comedy bands that only do comedy, but then you have bands that like this that what the song they're singing about is a joke, but they're very serious about the music, and that's what this band seems like. Let's keep going and see if I'm right. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. seems to be about uh, a young girl wanting an older man, wants to and is in love with him, meanwhile the older man just wants, you know. That's what I'm getting so far. It's just a very odd way of doing it, and so that's why I'm thinking it might be more comedy than serious in terms of that stuff. But who knows? Let's keep going, shall we? 3, 2, 1.
じゃなくて今すぐがいいの大人の恋に焦がれて見た目よりも残るあどけない気持ちだけが空回る私を見つけて優しいだけの言葉じゃなくて心でつながりたくてありきたりなメイクじゃ隠せない憧れだけ夢を見るまだ見ぬ恋路を追いかけてまた大人ブルー
All right, let's get to the review, shall we? All right, that was the song Atarashii Gakko, or the band Atarashii Gakko, sung by the song Untitled. It's hard to tell if they were being serious or if they were being jokey. They were serious about the performance. The performance was serious. So, like, the way they made the song and the way they made the music was serious. It's the message that I wonder if it was more of a joke. I mean, there are some serious parts about that, like a young girl falls in love with an older man because she loves the older man because he's mature, but the older man just wants, you know. So there's some relatability to with that, especially with the Japanese culture, because the Japanese culture, and this is kind of a compliment to the Japanese culture people. It's hard to tell how old some of the people are. So it's like, is she 16 or is she 36? So, but yeah, if you like, at the end of the video, as I said, after this segment, there is going to be a system in the time slots in the bottom. So if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. Where it talks about how this system's going to work and how you guys can interact with it and all that. But in the meantime, if you like this video, leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to see more. Ring the notification bell. In the description will be a link to the original video, and I hope to see you in the next video, which, by the way, is Bandmate, everybody. Bandmate's coming. All right, let's get to it. All right, everybody, this is the explanation video. It will be posted. It will be at the end of every video I upload this week. So the way this is gonna work, okay? You guys don't know. I don't know if you guys have paid attention, but I upload 4 times a week or 4 days a week: Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Okay. On every day, I upload at noon, 3:15, 6:30, 9:45. So it has a 3-hour and 15-minute space in between each upload. Okay. If you've noticed, the bands at noon and 6:30 have been consistent, while the bands at 3:15 and 9:45 have fluctuated, and that's how it's going to work. So, the bands at noon and 6:30 are put into a pool, okay, where after a week their numbers are locked, and I calculate them and I organize them based upon who's performed the best and who hasn't. The top 4 bands will move on to the next cycle. The next cycle, you won't. When I say next cycle, it's a cycle is 4 weeks. So the fourth 4 weeks roughly after the video air, the four after this week, you will see the results of the cycle. So, like I said, the bands at noon and 6:30 are put into a pool, to claim the 4 noon slots for the next cycle. For the next segment part of the cycle, right? Meanwhile, and by the way, it changes each week, right? So this week will affect the week affect part of the cycle that happens 4 weeks from now. Right. Next week will affect the cycle that part of the cycle that happens 4 weeks from now. So, and then the way it also works is the band. So the bands at 3:15 are all bands that have been selected from a list of artists that I have that are similar to the band at noon. I look up bands that are similar. If you have a recommendation for me, I put them on the list based upon the video you reacted to. And then at 9:45, the band at 9:45 is always based upon the band at 6:30. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. So the band at 3:15 is always based upon the band that's at 12 noon. The band at 9:45 is always based upon the band that's at 6:30. But here's the kicker. So I told you that the 6:30 and noon bands all get put into a pool, and the top 4 move on, become in the next cycle, and become the top 4 bands, and then the 4 bands that represent the noon cycle. You're saying, so what about the 6:30 cycle? What happens to those bands? That is what I do to those, the 6:30 and noon bands, I do to the 3:15 and 9:45 bands. I put them in a group, and I keep them in a separate thing. And if the top 4 from that group moves on to the 6:30. So what happens is at noon, you will always see a band that is consistent, right? That is always performing well, that is always doing well on this channel, that you guys want to see and I want to see. At 3:15, you will always see a band that is similar to one of the noon bands, that has been recommended to me because of the noon band, is on my list because of the noon band, but is always there because of them. And then at 6:30, you will always see a band that I have discovered through another group that has been given a bigger spotlight at 6:30. They've been given a second week, and normally the 6:30 is when they get their playlist, when they get their full representation on the channel as a band. And then at 9:45, same thing at 3:15, but for the 6:30. So at 9:45, the band at 9:45 will be similar to the 6:30. The way this all sums up, and it sounds crazy and it sounds odd, and I will post something that might help you guys better. I'll figure out something to post that might help you better. But the way to figure this all out, the way to summarize it, is your stuff matters. The way you can tell me if you want to see a band more, other than just telling me upright, is making sure you watch the videos, you like, you comment, and you share the videos so you can get other people to like and comment. If you really want, so this week, one of the bands I have is Anchor. They're coming in on Friday. If you really want Anchor to succeed and make it further onto this channel, your voice needs to be heard. I need to see views, I need to see likes, comments, all that. And I think that's how all channels work. But I'm giving you the ultimate. You have the steering wheel of this channel. That's the best way I can describe it. I know I described it in a long-winded way. I know you guys think I'm annoying, but like I said, you don't have to watch this part. So, without further ado, that'll be the end of this part. This will be put at the end of every video that I upload from this week. Again, it's at the end, so you don't have to watch it. Till next time. Goodbye, everybody.